let's rock and roll. The topic of our today's meeting is Russian market opportunities for international businesses and entrepreneurs, followed by a live Q&A session. My name is Stanislav Grafski. As our brief agenda, first I'd like to expand on my profile, who the heck I am and why even listening to me, what Russia is, obviously, as I perceive it, in the global economy, and whether it is attractive area for business development in general, again, based on my subjective opinion. Then few key market features, obviously not all of them, just a few that I think influence investor or market entrant decisions. Few challenges and their solutions or stroke opportunities. Opportunities, that's one of the most important things for any market entrant or then a few words I will say about how I can help, and most importantly is Q&A session at the end. Now, my name is once again Stanislav Grafski. You can call me Stan. I'm the oldest mammoth in Russian market entries in this country since 1988. I'm a lawyer in good standing, or graduated in 1990 in this country in Voronezh State University. Quite good law school, really. I got my MBA in the UK over 20 years ago. In 2004 in Nottingham University Business School, specialized in corporate social responsibility and sustainability. Actually, I was the first Russian in this area worldwide. Over 20 years ago, I also was nominated, and won this title as Manager of the Year for Russia by Vedomosti newspaper, which is a Russian market affiliate of Wall Street Journal and Financial Times. Since I joined LinkedIn in 2003, the year when it launched really, that's one of the key reasons I'm the most connected Russian on LinkedIn worldwide. Over these years I dealt in quite a number of industries, both as in-house consultant or lawyer, and as external consultant, so in those industries and clients. Now, as of today, what is Russia? Russia, we all know that it's the biggest country in the world and likely richest country in the world by natural resources. It's the fastest growing economy in Europe and largest. Germany left behind, I think, a couple of years ago in terms of the GDP and so on. World Bank last year named Russia as number 4 economy in the world by purchasing power parity. Also that year, World Bank confirmed that a Russian economy is top BRICS country by ease of doing business out of member countries, and IMF once again last year in 2004 confirmed that Russia is number 5 economy in the world by GDP. Key features of this market. Well, first, consumer basis, which is known. It's 145 to 150. Some people say it's way more than 150 million people. Take into account legal and illegal migrants from former USSR countries. Overall, we basically talk about a market of 185 million people. Take into account that Russia, as a member of Eurasian Economic Union countries, of 5 countries, Russia, Belarus, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, and Armenia, basically deal with this, call it client basis of 5 countries. No matter how many years gone by since the collapse of Soviet Union in 1991, the economy is definitely, and the market is definitely still unsaturated, really. So many unsaturated niches and sectors and industries to expand into, if you look closely. Just uh, different figures, different margin for different industries. Russian ruble, and like most other assets, greatly undervalued these days. And one of the most prominent business consultants, whom I personally highly respect, uh, Gareth Johnston, who, by the way, Mario, his base or one of his base based are in Switzerland, uh, considers, and he's the first Irish who, by the way, got a Russian passport years ago. So he believes that it's probably the most promising asset to keep their eyes on, talking about Russian rubles and ruble denominated assets. Challenges and solutions, or sometimes it could be called also an opportunities. The biggest concern of today's investors and market players and entrance into the into the market is called obviously Ukrainian war. Realistically, it's not, as I call it, war with Ukraine, but uh, proxy war with NATO. And again, not NATO countries, but NATO governments, really, because you know I'm Russian. I have nothing against any of the Europeans. Not to mention I spent so many years abroad. Uh, so realistically, when you start or continue trade with with Russia these days, if you concerned about these risks related with ongoing war in Ukraine, just stay away from that toxic Ukraine. Don't get involved in the grain deals or something like that. Just common sense, nothing new. Some people can see the big government spending on defense is also kind of a risk. On the other hand, that look into the shops, look how personal spending increased in the last 2 years. And more than that, because of the attractive profit margins in defense industries, many Russian local manufacturers or other industries related with supply shifted into the lucrative greener pastures of defense orders, thus generating new niches and, based on the undersupply, other greener pastures for new entrants. And I'll bring you a few examples later on that. Another issue or challenge is obviously biased information about what's going on in this economy in the mainstream media. I always say, listen, it's very simple to check what is happening here. Well, if you have time and you're really interested in considering this market one way or another, just come and spend a few days in Moscow to see it yourself. Check grocery stores or look for you're competing with you products and see what is happening. Otherwise, the cheapest way and the easiest way is use LinkedIn. Find either your competitors or someone of your circle of acquaintances living in this country and ask them these questions. It's cheap, I would say it's free, and you would get the feedback straightforward. One of the biggest, actually shocking information sources for common public in the West, as far as I understand, is video reports by Mr. Carlson when he came a few months ago to Moscow to interview Mr. Putin. And a part of that, he did a few reports and videos across Moscow, and that was really, really shocking to many Americans, by the way. But in any case, he demonstrated prices, he demonstrated streets, he demonstrated facilities, and again, obviously, in kind of benchmarking mode to what is happening in his home country. Another challenge, and many people, without going to details, say, "Hey, you cut off from SWIFT," and that's I noticed that even 90% of local marketplace don't understand what is happening. Yeah, Russia is cut off US dollar and euro transactions via SWIFT. But if I want to pay, let's say, Dubai or United Arab Emirates dirhams, I'm easily doing that. You see? The question is, do it the proper way, find the right banks to action your transaction through. As simple as that. So these days, and in particular because of these SWIFT issues, because SWIFT issues obviously they relate mostly with interbank transfers, big companies in particular. Uh, Tons of other alternative channels for settlement channels are in place these days, including uh, national settlements between the countries, like Russia and Iran, direct settlements without rubles. But also the same story with India and China. So the countries or contractors on both sides of the deal avoid euro or dollars in their transaction and make payments in their currencies, which makes payments a way much easier. I'm telling what I tested many times. So transactions comes in RMB or yuans, Indian rupees, or other currencies of your choice. Besides, with quite a number of my clients, I these days operate with cryptos or e-wallets. In case, for example, it's very easy to do, even if you haven't done it before, if you have an account, personal account with Telegram, or Payer, or Wallet, or whatever it is, but Telegram is very easy. You know, once you have personal account, you have the Telegram wallet, and once you about to make a payment to another Telegram customer, you just get connected, go to your wallet, pay your money with your card into your account, get equivalent in ton coins, request your contractor or contact to confirm the transaction. You just action it, the other side confirms it, done, bingo, immediately, the same second. Uh, Converting ton coins into your currency, it's no brainer transaction at all. Besides, BRICS Pay appeared on the scenes last couple of 3 months, but to be honest, it is not yet fully actionable and active. I installed this BRICS Pay software on my phone, I think a couple of months ago at least. But there is one little feature which is still deactivated. I think it's called transfer. The rest is fine. Also, now the not secret but little known issue with when dealing with non-dollar and non-euro transaction or banks in those countries, and but mostly with the countries of major trading partners of Russia. I'm talking about India and China. In the last year, we witnessed that both China and India was demonstrated reluctance in making transactions to the Russian recipients. And that's just because of the threat of secondary sanctions. At the same time, if you look, I actually, when this shit started happen, I think somewhere last year, yeah, in January, maybe February, when VTB just launched in. VTB is the second biggest Russian bank, launched in Shanghai. I helped, and because of the long queues of Chinese wishing to open accounts there for hassle-free transactions with their buyers in Russia, I helped quite a number of my Chinese clients, just pushing their, let's say, queues or lines, their lanes to get to open their accounts. And realistically, these days it works perfectly. The same shit within there. More banks in India pretend they don't, or they're reluctant to deal with Russia. At the same time, there is quite a number of government banks who do that easily in rupees, in particular in rupees, but rupees is widely acceptable. Rupee and ruble is about the same exchange rate. It's very easy. Easily acceptable in this country, in any bank here. So I sometimes use it as a third country currency to receive payments. The biggest challenge, based on my experience, is not even this payment issues. Everything could be arranged. I didn't even mention the solutions like middleman companies, agents, all types of facilitators sitting somewhere in Dubai or islands, and not to mention facilitators dealing with in-cash, in-card transactions. It's a long list. The biggest, once again, the biggest issue for new market entrants when they try to get adopted to local conditions or rules, not necessarily rules, I would say traditions. I think it's cultural issues, and that normally or mostly relates to other than European cultures, to be honest. So you guys who are present in the room today, maybe it's not about you, but I'm sure that you know what I'm talking about. And here is the point. Asian cultures are widely used to commission-based transactions. And on one hand, it's quite understandable, there is common sense in them. However, when you look at quite a variety of industries, what is applicable in one industry, like say retail, FMCG sales, is not fully or completely not applicable to the others. And many transactions or cooperation models we can consider for, let's say, market entry or initial period of sales in a new environment, in a new country, engages not only consignment basis transactions, like let's say you sell kind of food products, oranges, and you deliver it to Peterochka, one of the biggest convenience store chains in this country. And you, after just tons of pain in the ass with compliance issues, certification, that kind of stuff, but you finally got your papers in order and you start supplying, then your payment will be, Peterochka and other major retailers very disciplined in their payment orders, but you'll be paid somewhere between the earliest 40 days from your delivery to 60, 90, sometimes 120 days. Even said that, we basically talk about just a portion of new entrant transactions, and that's fine with talking about commission in this kind of stuff. But look at, excuse me, look at other industries where professional support is involved, or where, let's say, you're a manufacturer of certain product, and before you propose it to your potential buyer in this country, this buyer is supposed to, or in particular with middlemen somewhere in between, you have to incur tons of costs, and you cannot avoid it. Just costs. Could be certification, could be third party attestment, whatever it is. It's a long list of costs, and that's what unfortunately Asian mentality do not widely accept. And based on this, let's say, mismatch in cultures, I believe that 90% of the deals that were brought by new entrants didn't go through. Not failed, let's say, at the end of the negotiation approach, just didn't go through because two parties could not understand each other. And my feeling, and by the way, both parties have their own ground, so groundings for their arguments. It's understandable. So traditional opportunities. That's what you guys absolutely know about. It's boosted consumer spending. It's increased demand for consumer goods. So many consumer goods supply are very much welcome. And when you look at the list of goods services that are missing, I always, nearly in every niche, I can name you a few saying, "Hey, it's it's so easy. Just start moving into it. Make proper research, not with guys who pretend to do researches daily for 30,000 rubles. You'll buy shit, really. But serious ones, and also sourcing from Russia. That unfortunately um, not many market entrants really apply. On one hand, in particular, if we talk about Asian contractors, they inborn traders. On the other hand, I can see, also witness that quite often, that people unable to establish understanding with your industry suppliers. Look, energy products, fertilizers. Every country, let's say agri-related country, needs fertilizers. Wheat. Russia is number one in wheat production. Sunflower is growing in this country, and demand for sunflower grows all around the world. It's so many points are really at the arm's reach. But what I also always say to my mm, clients or leads who potentially interested in this area, if in particular you moved into sourcing from Russia, always look where the added value is, or where extra money could be saved. For example, if on a wholesale basis big companies buy, let's say, sunflower oil or wheat or fertilizers from uh, local monsters, why don't you consider buying directly from farmers, even by hiring local sourcing agents? That will save you sometimes up to 50% of the cost of the price. It's so easy. Deal with old good cash. It's simply that. But anyway, it's just an opportunity. War generated opportunities. I think I already mentioned about this opportunity with traditional local manufacturers that moved or shifted to defense industries and now at the payroll of defense industry of Russia. and many manufacturing industries or other services that used to be serving regular contractors like Russian Rail. Oh, here is, yeah, I mentioned this, axle boxes for Russian Rail. Russian Rail is a dream client, really, if you supply something to them because it's government funded. They plan the procurement policy for 5 years, 10 years, and make sure they have more than enough funds for that. But even Russian Rail, as I said, dream client 5 years ago, 3 years ago. These days, look for suppliers of trivial axle boxes. I actually introduced a couple of Indian specialized companies to do that for them. Once again, both deals stuck because of cross-cultural issues. These guys on two sides of the negotiation desk could not understand each other, even with translators, like living in two different planets. And other opportunities. We already discussed. Everyone knows that half of the Western brands left the market. One of the Some of those doing very resonant cases with just demonstration of business stupidity, as I think. I'm talking about IKEA. There's many of them. Look, I sometimes just admire who is in their boards. I understand that these big players who left the market been pressed by politics, but when IKEA was leaving the market, it should be looking first at the supplies list. In particular, those who were your wood product suppliers. Nearly 100% of them were from Russia, located next to the woods. And once IKEA left, these companies who supplied their products and sold under the IKEA umbrella immediately licked into IKEA's niches. If IKEA wants to get back one day, I don't think it will face the same pre-cultivated by IKEA industries or by or client base, because most of them already, I'm not talking about customers, buy from IKEA substitutes. But again, that's just so obvious opportunities. Once some of the major players left, you got into its green pasture. As simple as that. Software products. Yeah, Russia is in many cases banned from software products, and these days Chinese software developers, I wonder why not Indians, started capitalizing on the Russian market greatly, using Rustore facilities for selling their products. For some reason, Indians didn't reveal it to them. Crypto mining officially legalized by Putin last year. Yeah, I think last year there is a law on that. And these days, once again, Chinese miners are just brought into this market and doing that. If some other country or some other contractors are interested in developing, this business, definitely it's time to look at legal fundamentals on mining in Russia and cheap energy, because we all know that mining requires a lot of energy. New opportunities. What many, let's say, trading company overlook or miss these days when they checking the opportunities on this market, checking around, blah 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 blah. They, for some reason, they miss Russian producers, manufacturers, in particular in the consumer areas, who badly looking for external export markets, and that's where most of these companies, in particular in food, alcohol industries, they have impressive budgets for expansion, but they have nobody of export background on international markets in Asia, Africa, and Latin America. If I recently recommended to a couple of my leads, just listen, look around, come to the local major dealers in alcohol in your country, then connect with the Russian vodka distilleries. There's so many of them. All have dedicated budgets, and go for it. You don't need to invest a penny of yours, but it could be a very, very lucrative business for many years. Look at the case of Russian standard vodka. Wow. Manpower supply, it's not really typical for me area, but nevertheless, because of the situation in the economy, there is a huge undersupply of skilled workers. That's even former USSR countries, republics cannot supply satisfying number of qualified workers. So I think it's one of the areas where, once again, Asian countries with qualified workers who work all around the world could capitalize on immediately, right now. Once again, doing that legally, of course, with quotas, with permissions, invitations, so on. Now, as of my help, well, normally how I work, if I have a new entrant qualification form, so I normally share this with my potential lead. They're supposed to fill it in, and if I believe that there is opportunity for him, yeah, we'll meet for 30 minutes free session, and I normally advise them in that way. Say, listen, this might be of interest, or don't go there. Here is why. So normally, unlike many, I'm not saying competitors, but consultants who in free cheese sessions talk about only what, I also explain how. You understand what I mean? Now, those who consider this market interesting and ready to move forward, but yet not too deeply, I always recommend to take my 60 minutes payable strategy session. It costs peanuts, really. It's $300 for a session with receiving, expert advice based on, again, my experts like market researchers, data, and that kind of sophisticated expertise. It's peanuts, but it saves you a lot of time and money not to make mistakes at the initial stage of market entry. There is another product that recently confirmed to be very interesting for potential customers. Those who can hire a local manager, but not yet ready for a long-term cooperation and more impressive investments, and feel like. So I offer these guys one-to-one mentoring, or call it coaching guidance. This way we meet 4 times a month for about an hour and a half, keeping the customers responsible company officer and the manager in this country. So normally I just guide these people what to do, how to do, where to go, when not to go, and why. So realistically, it's kind of guidance of what I would be doing based on my previous experience and my team, uh, but with your manpower. And in many cases, new entrants find it quite satisfactory to hire their compatriots, like students, medical students, Indians, always do here. Uh, like last years or about to be graduated who speak Russian fluently. And they move forward step by step. And then by the end of 5 months period, uh, in many cases they nearly completed entry stage, if not completely. Got ongoing business model here, but cheaper and more savior than with full-time involvement. Yeah, if we talk about full-fledged market entry consultant, I've got a number of solutions with different length or programs and type of deliverables depending on the industry, depending on the budget and that kind of stuff. But I always recommend people contact me for details, and I'll tell you what is applicable to you, what does work and what doesn't work. Here is my contacts. In any case, I will share with you the video of mine of our session. So I recommend you a part of my email, which is a principal, old, reliable channel communication channel. Contact me by WhatsApp or email. At the same time, I invite you to connect with me on Telegram and in particular LinkedIn. I also advise people to join my group Market Entry and Business in Russia, where Russia business news are placed daily, actually from 5 to 10, sometimes up to 20. Rather than screening the entire internet, come here and within a minute or two you can scroll down what might be applicable to you, going what happened and what might be of interest to you. Those who never been here before, I recommend to check my videos on my YouTube channel, quick advices, recommendations, some cases. There is also a Telegram channel called Russian Opportunities. It's quite young, but definitely I will continue focusing on it in the near future. Still, it has plenty of relevant stuff for those who consider this market for one way or another. Now, what if someone, maybe not, I'm not sure about you guys, but if someone is interested in going forward, at least screening his situation, I recommend to request new entrant qualification form from me, and upon completing it, send it back to me so we could communicate or meet online and see if there are prospects for his or her business in this country. And also, I'm always contacted, as I said, at WhatsApp and email, and I'm open for any questions and queries that are applicable to your situation. So here, thank you very much for your attention. I hope something, even for those of you who know a lot about this country, something was useful, so it's not the complete waste of your time. And now the stage is yours. I'm very much open for your questions, if you have any.
Yes, I've got some questions.
Oh, that's great. Let me just stop sharing. Yeah. Yeah, I'm back. Thank you.
I can start, yes?
Yeah, sure.
Great. Stan, thanks a lot for this presentation, for this information. You mentioned a guy, he's a Swiss-based economic. I did not get his name. Please, if it's possible, could you write it in the chat?
Yeah, sure. You, yeah, let me.
You mentioned that he talked about Russia and the opportunities in Russia.
Yeah, well, he's a genius.
That would be good.
Find him on Gareth Johnston.
Okay.
He's on LinkedIn, where you can find him. But most importantly, just contact him by email, WhatsApp. I'm sure his WhatsApp is there. And he prefers being contacted by WhatsApp because he replies quite fast, so it's easy to communicate with him that way. Just to give you a story, he's Irish, multilingual, speaking 8 languages fluently, unlike his father who spoke 28. He Because of his languages in early 90s, he started developing the first mobile company in the UK, Mercury, and he expanded it across Europe. Since then, he helped a few other Western European companies. He's a genius. He finds smart and straightforward solutions in most of the cases he deals with. I know his cases, and I was thinking, how in the hell I could not get to that solution myself? But he's smart. He works. He actually raised sales of MTS mobile telesystems. No, number one mobile communicator here. Kyivstar in Ukraine. X5 marketing director. X5 is the biggest retail chain. And few others. Anything he touches becomes gold. He touched Peterочка over 10 years ago instead of other consultants. He spent a few days watching how Peterочка at that time worked stores. And he brought new model. It's just watch his videos. I highly recommend you to watch because it's so much common sense, so much revelations. He brings so many. In particular, as I said, he's got Russian passport these days. Last year he bought a new apartment in Moscow in Krasnaya Presnya, by the way, using this electronic sales just by one button, and he recommended this real estate deals to any contacts of his and compared with what he gone through when selling his apartment in Dublin for 4 months, and buying your apartment in Moscow just one click. But anyway, watch his videos. I think it's dozens of videos of his events with recipes, lots of revelations, lots of interviews, live interviews. Impressive, serious. It's a guy who definitely costs the money he charges. We obviously talk about millions, but he wasn't.
Thanks, Stan. I give to him your greetings.
Send him my regards. After all, he taught me to change my consulting model. I was so happy. He found time for me 1 hour. He looked at how I work and said, "Don't do that anymore," and gave me exactly what to do. Boom, 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 boom. It did work.
In the the further question is, you said that you, perhaps not correct, you don't trust payment agencies to make payments, cross-border payments. You use crypto currencies.
No,
And
I didn't say I don't trust them.
I understand. I understand this in your case or in my situation. But if you have a Russian importer or a foreigner exporter, multi-million rubles, dollar business,
Mm.
then it's quite tricky to make it via cryptocurrency. As in Russia, the electronic ruble is not officially allowed right now. Perhaps later in this year, in summer or in autumn or next year, we will see. But for bookkeeping purposes, the cryptocurrency is at this time not officially not allowed. We can make a remuneration for a private person, yeah, for a small business. But in order to pay to the customs, in order to pay to to other countries, that I cannot understand how to.
No, 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 no. I'm fully with you. When you talk about medium or large scale transactions, cryptos are not applicable. It's like C2C payments, small services. That's absolutely true. You're right. I'm talking about just what is convenient for in general. But as of company to company transactions, if we talk even about 10 million rubles payments, it's obviously better to do via bank transfer. That's for sure. And for this way, as I said, depending on the country, you choose for any solutions you like. It's so many, and I myself, yeah, sometimes apply or use facilitators in Dubai, in Turkey, who are not on the sanction list, who are allowed to deal with any currency, and even with sanctioned banks, by the way. That's fine. There's absolutely no problem. Just make sure they're reliable. As simple as that, because it's your risk to deal with those.
Stan, just one question about India.
Yeah.
Relationship between from let's say administration structure relationship between Russia and India. So India doesn't apply sanctions from a financial market, or they does today. Can we work between Russia and India on let's say relaxed way, or we have to face some issues, difficulties to transfer money from Russia to India, from India to Russia. So how is the relationship on the financial transaction between India and Russia? That's,
Let me briefly outline options available for payments between Russia and India. So first, from the legal point of view, Indian banks are allowed to deal with Russians, just allowed. However, it's quite typical for Indians. Be very careful, if not exaggerated in being careful. That's why many, I would say majority of Indian banks try to stay away of paying to Russia, no matter in which currency, just in case, to avoid secondary sanctions. However, there are at least 3 banks which recommended by Russian banks, sanction banks. I deal with in Russia. I deal mostly with Alpha Bank, other banks as well, but Alpha, I like how efficient they are in international transactions. They have so-called list of recommended banks in India, and that includes at least 3 banks, government-controlled banks, that do transaction and settlement with Russia any day, any time, without paying attention to what American says to them in terms of the threat of secondary sanctions. So it works both ways easily, but there is better way, even because your payer or your customer in India could stick. He's Indian after all. He afraid of anything. Go to Sberbank. Sberbank is number 1 Russian bank that has an office there, fully functional, licensed office for I think over 10 years. They have a special mechanism of settlement, so-called rupees transactions. So even you don't need to be their customer, you just apply and say, I need rubles to be paid in Russia, or vice versa transaction. The trick here, they all commercial guys, they're supposed to charge you just a small fee. I'm talking about Sberbank. But Sberbank there is run by Indians. So once you apply to them, you comply with the requirements, you collect the papers, how the transaction is done, and then they say, oh, by the way, please open your account with us. I say, what's the problem? It's not your requirement. You deal as a broker. And you thought, otherwise we cannot do that. And you know that you have no other options similar to Sberbank because it's so much bigger and reliable. So you go to them, provide them with your papers. It takes you at least a month. I know what I'm talking about. my client's gone through. I know these lists of papers. They squeeze you, and then by the end of this road, you finally, oh, thank God, I finally got an open account. And they say, yeah, by the way, I would recommend you as a new customer to keep at least 100,000 rupees as a minimal balance. And you needed just maybe 100 rupees one transaction. You guys, you screwed me up, fuckers. Well, if you're big company, that's fine. But I'm talking about waste of time. They do. I'm not against Sberbank. I'm not against Indian psychology in general. I'm just giving you some warnings to keep that in mind. And again, let's say I mostly bank these days in at least in 2 private banks and 2 government banks in this country. And in both cases with private banks, Alpha and Avantgarde, they have lists of recommended banks there, so no hassles, no issues, nobody happens. So in terms of helping to solve payment issues with India, it's used to be on the agenda of kind of misbalance of payment between these 2 countries, and that there were too much rupees on Indian side and not that proper payments into rubles. But again, if there is a demand, or some people ask you to help them with ruble payments, why don't you just write to me? I don't have at the top of my head three banks of I mentioned.
It was just a question because I'm on discovery and curiosity, let's say, way to understand how it could be done, or what can be done between Russia wrong, Switzerland can't work directly from financial banks to banks with Russia today. So the way is India, if I'm not wrong. That's why. And I don't have a specific project right now. It's just I would like to discover what could be done, how could be done. I'm trying to just to understand what could be done. That's all. So for the moment, I don't have a specific project. It's just curiosity and discovery to understand what could be done as a business.
Well, I'm sure that's when you look for nuances or peculiarities of this kind of settlements. It's just my opinion. Ideally, if you find a few reliable kind of good lawyers and accountants in, I mean, reliable to you, reliable, trustful, because it's a part of the culture, unfortunately. If they not really wish to reveal some information, they never will. Like, I'm happy I deal with, let's say, colleagues of my lawyers there, who immediately, like me, normally, if I know the solution, and immediately say, yeah, I know the solution. That's it. As simple as that. Whereas this guy would try to check the ground, how much they could charge from you, then take you to one meeting or another unnecessary meeting. You waste your time and money, by the way. So I don't think there is an big issue because of these macro payments, which were all around the press or media a couple of years ago, related with oil deals between Russia and India. Yeah, Russia signed big deals and signed up for big deals and quantities of oil. Unfortunately, what we, as far as I understand, as it happens, specialized companies like oil companies, they're not used to deal with their non-profile business. In other words, they received billions and billions and billions of rupees in payment, and then you nothing what to do with it. And that's why it was so resonated case. Instead, it's very simple what to do. Find some smart trader. He immediately would tell you, oh, by the way, if you buy basmati rice here, which is on every corner in India, and we bring it to Russian stores, Peterочка, will immediately double the selling price. Not just getting what you received, but even doubling. Find someone experienced in this area. Simple as that. But seems most of these oil companies are not capable.
Okay, thank you.
My pleasure. Any other topics? Well, if that is the case, thank you. Thank you very much indeed. I mean it, that you guys, only two guys, found found time for me. We connected with Gregor. If you don't mind, and if you're interested in that, I'm not pushy. As I said, I will place the recording of this probably on my YouTube and as well maybe on my LinkedIn page. I'd like to include you in my email list if you don't mind, because time to time I'm sending some news. Russian market.
Yes, sure, no problem.
Yes, please.
Yeah, so yeah, contact me directly then by email. I'll put you in my list, and then it would actually, it's my fault. In the last couple of years, I didn't keep my email communication with my subscribers regular, but it's definitely on my agenda in the next month or so to revive all this and start sending kind of newsletters periodically.
Stan, I already typed my email address in the chat. Then you can include my email address in order to fast up this process.
Okay.
And Mario, please feel free to copy this email as well. Oh, I see your email. Thank you very much for this.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Mario, do you plan to come to Moscow? Then you can meet Stan or both and me as well.
Oh, right now, no, not immediately. Now I'm still looking to find a field where it can be done in terms of business. I mean, as I said, I'm still in discovery, curiosity mode until to find, let's say, a purpose of business. So nothing done yet. Looking, taking information to build up something. I don't know what exactly yet, but something.
Great.
What is your, if it's not secret, what is your specialization area?
ICT, Information and Communication Technology.
Oh, it's too wide, but what exactly?
Software as a services, SaaS, clouds, computing, network storage, software management, and this kind of stuff.
But you don't develop any software yourself.
I'm more on the project management part, in front office. I'm not the engineer who will code, who will program software. I'm more the guy who will lead the team to build up or bring up a software, which
yeah, I see.
so project manager, like Scrum methodology, if you know that.
Yeah, I see. Well, if I would have a little bit more idea of your interests, in particular this and that, let's say, sub areas. If I stumble upon something, I can share, some. That's what I regularly do with my connections. Oh, by the way, I heard something. I didn't research it, but hey, John, please go there, just in case that something was mentioned. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes it helps. Yeah. Well, once again, thank you very much, gentlemen, for your time. I really, really appreciate you came. Watch my LinkedIn profile. And Mario, are we connected on LinkedIn?
Yes, we are.
Good. So
yeah, we are. I received some. I can see you post and this kind of stuff.
Good. Let's stay in touch. That's my suggestion. And once I put you on my mailing list, I would inform you about the some next online event. I'd like to keep them regular, but you never know. Thank you. Thank you very much indeed. And see you guys soon. Alrighty.
Bye bye.
Bye.